Well, thank you, Conrad. And there are many little things that can annoy or seriously impact our health, and acid reflux is one of them. And to tell us a little bit more about this common affliction, we're joined by Nurse Christina Parrish. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, good morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah, welcome in.
So, acid reflux, first off, what is acid reflux?
So acid reflux, our stomachs produce acid. That's what helps with digestion. You know, we eat food, it goes down our esophagus. Our stomach produces acid, and that kind of helps to break down the food. So we have these particular cells called parietal cells, and they're the ones that actually produce the acid that's released into the stomach.
So what are some common symptoms of this?
Yeah, so, well, if you have too much acid production, you're gonna have that burning sensation. And what happens is we have these little, they're sphincters, they're called, so they allow food to go down into the stomach, but do not allow stomach contents to go back up into the esophagus. And what happens is if you get chronic irritation, you're gonna get that back up. So that's what's gonna give you the burning, and you're gonna have maybe some chest pain. You might feel like that regurgitation or food and stuff going back up into your stomach. You might have kind of a raspy voice because it can affect your larynx and your voice box. You might have trouble swallowing because the inflammation can sometimes get to where it kind of constricts your esophagus and food. And people can get what's called Barrett's esophagus. So that's when the cells in the lining actually change. And that can be a chronic condition. And then coughing, like an unexplained cough. And people don't realize that. Sometimes if you develop a cough with an unknown cause, they might ask you just to try medications and things to see if that helps out.
Oh, that's incredibly interesting. So can this be treated without a doctor's help now if we're trying to find solutions here?
So you can. I mean, you can try for short term. You can try over-the-counter stuff. You know, there's the omeprazole or Prilosec. You can try Nexium, some of those kind of things, Tums. Those can help. What they do is those parietal cells that I talked about before that will create the acid and you know, kind of spit it out into your stomach. What those do, or those medications, block that acid from forming, so so that your lining and stuff isn't irritated chronically. But you know, if you develop any kind of chest pain or difficulty and it's chronic and ongoing, you know, you want to go in then and see your doctor. There's different tests and things that they can do. And so you just always want to make sure. Again, you know, if it happens long term, the medications are a different dose, they're different strengths than what you're taking over the counter. So you want to talk to them about that. And if you just, so if you're just not controlling those symptoms. If it's happened for many years, anytime you have pain with swallowing, like if it feels like food is getting stuck in your esophagus or in your throat, you want to call your doctor then. If you're losing weight without trying, or if you're kind of choking on food, some people will say they feel like, you know, they just can't get the food down. You know, in those cases, you definitely, want to be really careful about what you eat. Avoid steak, things that just don't break down easily or you don't chew. And so you want to, And
you say that's acid reflux.
Right, so that can, but anytime you have chest pain or difficulty or discomfort, you should always go into your provider and talk to them about, you know, what possibly could be going on. They can do exams, they can check the lining, they can go down with scopes and look into your esophagus and your stomach to see what's going on, and they can help treat those things. Now, some of the things that you want to do is you want to avoid foods that trigger this acid reflux. So if you have chronic acid reflux, you want to be careful with things like coffee, chocolate, caffeinated, carbonated drinks like Pepsi and Coke. I love fountain Pepsi. Worst thing for you for acid reflux. Coffee and chocolate too, and I love those too.
Those are some of my favorites right there. That's not a great sign.
No, things like orange juice, so citrusy fruits. You want to be careful with those kind of things too.
Well, interestingly enough, I love coffee, love chocolate. Thankfully, no acid reflux. But the orange juice, when I was growing up, I had horrible tonsils, and you know, even into when I was an adult, and I got them removed when I was like 22. too. But when I drank orange juice for like the last year before it just would inflare those tonsils. It would irritate the throat. Just horrible. But yeah, I could see why that would also be bad for acid reflux.
Right. So fruits like bananas, apples, grapes, those are okay. You know, they don't cause that kind of irritation.
And age doesn't matter for this, right? Anyone can pretty much get it?
Right. Age
Okay.
does not matter. Stress can, those high cortisol levels can help or will sometimes
Makes
build
sense.
up acid too. Eating smaller meals throughout the day, not eating, I know we've had this conversation about how when
close
you're
to
working
bedtime?
shifts,
Yeah.
you go to bed earlier and you still try to eat dinner at a normal dinner time, and yet you're going to bed earlier. So some of the things that people can do if they work shifts is either eat smaller meals throughout the day, like I said, or raise the head of their bed. You can get those wedge pillows. Laying on your left side will also can help kind of keep things in your belly too.
Interesting.
I'm always that type of
So,
person,
yeah.
left side. So.
Yeah.
Left side sleeper.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming in this morning and telling us all about the acid reflux, how to manage it,
Learned a lot.
and kind of get through our day a little bit better then.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
Coming in. Pleasure.
All right, but coming up, we have what's trending in